There was not a full night of sleep in the 5 months or so that we shot the show. During the edit, I think I started sleeping a little bit better.
Now, as we all know, Lessons in Chemistry is based off of the best-selling novel. Lee, I am very curious what drew you to adapting this story for the screen. And then Sarah, I want to know afterwards what had you signing on as well. So Lee, what was it about Lessons in Chemistry for you?
My wife read the book first, and she could not have been more praiseworthy about it, and said, this is a series. And that perked my ears up, and also I needed a new book to read. And I just started reading it the next day, and I flipped for it. I thought the dialogue just exploded off of the page. The story turns in it were so surprising and unexpected. And then the character of Elizabeth was so singular and compelling, and she was funny, and she was so matter of fact in the way she spoke to people, and had such kind of a singular worldview that I was so compelled by her, and the prospect of trying to adapt it was just, it was really the gift of a lifetime creatively.
Absolutely. And Sarah, but what about you?
I hadn't read the book when I first got the call, but I knew it was loved by so many people. And it's always a tricky thing when you have a book or a property where there's already so many fans built in. And so that's, I'm always a little bit hesitant. But then I talked to Lee, and he had such a refreshingly clear idea of how to handle this adaptation. And he said something that really became an anchor for me, and why I was so inspired to do the project. He talked about how one of the main themes of the book is about how surprise is a necessary force in life, and not only that, perhaps even almost a necessary force in the universe. And it's the things that we can't control and can't predict, the ways we can't perfectly plan our life. Those sharp left turns are actually, and they end up being what makes life so rich and meaningful. And I thought that was really beautiful and really universal, and something that I wanted to be involved with.
Oh, I love that. And Lee, you were talking about just how dynamic the character of Elizabeth is, and Brie Larson's such a perfect choice for her. Tell me a little bit about bringing her into the project, working with her to bring this character to screen.
Yeah, this was unusual for me in that Brie Larson brought me into this project. It was not the usually I'm casting, and this time I was cast. So Brie came to this project with Michael Costigan and Jason Bateman and their company, and then Sarah and I came in after that. But Brie is the most incredible collaborator. She's an executive producer in the show, and not in name only. She was there for pre-production meetings and sitting in on production design and costume, and would sit in the writer's room with us, and we pitched her the whole season and had notes, and the main titles for the show she was weighing in on, and the music. And then, everyone knows Brie as an actress, and she just delivered every day. I mean, it's not a surprise that she's an Oscar winner, and you saw what she was able to do with all the different aspects of this character that we threw at her. And the character suffers unthinkable loss and grief. There's an amazing romance here. She has to be a world-class scientist, a world-class chef, and has to be able to be the host of her own TV show. So there's all these different, and she's a mother, and so there's all of these different kind of components to the character that we asked of her, and she delivers at a level that so far exceeds my expectations, and they were incredibly high for her to begin with.
Oh, that's fabulous. Well, as you both know, adapting a book is not for the weak of heart. It can be difficult to bring it to the screen. I'm curious how both of you work together to take this book and make it a cohesive series.
Lee is such an amazing collaborator. I really love his style of showrunning, because I felt so welcomed in to be a part of all the different discussions of storytelling and script, and we had a lot of really great back and forth, and with Brie as well. And I think we really wanted to do service to the fans of this book, and really use the book as our North Star. But then what I love about Lee is he also recognizes where you do need to sort of back away from the source material, and also saw so many opportunities for something that may have just been a quick mention in the book to be able to expand, and how a TV series offers you opportunity to like spend more time with something that was maybe a smaller part of the book. One other thing I thought was really such a smart move on Lee's part is Lewis Pullman, who plays Calvin. He initially was only scheduled for, I think, 2 or 3 episodes in the series, but once we were shooting with him, I think everybody recognized, like, we have a star on our hands. He is really so spectacular and so watchable. And to Lee's credit, he realized, okay, I want to pivot, and let's try and keep him in more episodes and try and adjust the storytelling and scripts so that we can bring him back.
That's wonderful. And Lee, was there anything that you found particularly challenging in adapting the series, or anything that, gave you a couple nights awake thinking about it?
Oh, I was awake the entire time that we shot there was not a full night of sleep in the 5 months or so that we shot the show. During the edit, I think I started sleeping a little bit better. No, look, the biggest fear for me, the anxiety, was the book is so beloved, and not only by audiences, by me. And so to shoulder the responsibility of taking something that you see it in its greatest form, and then are tasked with with kind of putting into a different medium and kind of maintaining that level of quality, was really scary and daunting. And the way that I approach everything, as Sarah said, is through collaboration, and the best idea wins, and it's through spirited debate and a lot of Zooming and a lot of in-person conversations, both in the writer's room and on set, that to get us there. And to work with a director like Sarah, and to work with some of the other department heads, the worst version, I hope, is what I've written. And then really, I mean, when I first saw what Sarah was doing, the look of the show was so much more exciting, and there was movement to it, and it was alive and kinetic in a way that I couldn't imagine. And I never worked with Lewis Pullman before. I never worked with Brie Larson before. And so seeing them, in those first early days, and saying like, wow, there's a real chemistry, to this world and to these characters, that it was just, everything felt so vibrant and alive. And, we were moving really fast, and there was just everyone, it just felt like everyone was there for each other, and everyone's excellence was kind of forcing you to become the best version of yourself.
And I think it helped. Lee and I both have children the same age. At the time we were making the show, we had 1-year-olds. And so actually, in a way, I think it made us even more efficient, because we both had, and respectful of everyone's time. We wanted to be able to get back and squeeze our kids and say goodnight. And so I think in a way, it just sort of like made us even more lock in as a team.
Wonderful. Well, I really appreciate you talking with me today, and I can't wait for everyone to see the series. So thank you so much for your time.